Creamer Media's Mining Weekly is interviewing Fortune Majapelo, the outgoing CEO of Bushveld Minerals, and with him is Craig Coltman, the incoming CEO. And Bushveld Minerals is a major producer of vanadium, one of our key metals in this country, which is seen as being ideal for long-duration storage of renewable energy. We note, Fortune, that you're stepping down as CEO of Bushveld Minerals. What is the reason and where are you heading?
Martin, it's been 11 years in the helm of this wonderful company. And, it's certainly been an interesting journey starting life as an exploration company with an asset in Mokopane and a tin license. Since then, we have, gone through quite an interesting journey. You will note that we spun out AfriTin, which is today a very successful Andrada mining, focused on tin, tantalum, and lithium. And we went on our own transformation some 6 years ago into a vanadium producer. And that process itself, saw us acquire Vametco, Vanchem, and built into the position we are in today in terms of material significant vanadium production with a broad range of vanadium products. At the same time, we have played a fairly pioneering role in terms of developing the role of vanadium in the energy storage space for a producer through Bushveld Energy. And we are now here with 2 or 4 operating primary vanadium plants in the world, with an energy platform that we think is built enough critical mass. And the focus going forward now really becomes about how you make sure we extract the best out of these assets. On the upstream assets, it's about, squeezing every single kilogram of vanadium we can out of our assets as cheaply as possible. It is about making sure that our balance sheet, which is quite debt heavy, and that out of necessity. It wasn't in any shape or form out of recklessness by the company, but we built this company on the back of existing cash flows and debt. But the result is that we've got a balance sheet that has got some near-term maturities that needs to be addressed. So that's on the upstream. We don't need to be, really driving M&A per se. We've got 2 solid assets. We need to get the best out of them. I think we've always said that at 5,000 to 5,400 MTV, we believe that we've got sustainable production that should be profitable through the cycle, and should unlock value for our shareholders. And then on the energy side, you've got a business that we think has got enough critical mass now to stand on its own feet, attract energy-focused investors and analysts, and develop, as a VRFB energy storage platform. So from a timing point of view, I think to your question, it's not a bad time. It's a good time to be making a transition.
And where are you heading, Fortune?
Martin, I am around, we'll continue to provide some support in terms of the transition to Craig. At the same time, I'm going to continue to support the company in terms of the carve-out of our energy business, a strategy which we announced some time ago, and which we are quite keen to see through. And, beyond that, I will tell you in due course, but in the immediate future, that is very much where my focus is going to be.
Thanks, Fortune. And Craig, can you give us some idea of what you have in mind for this Bushveld Minerals business?
Well, let me give you a view of the short term, first of all. My only takeover as the CEO on the 1st of July. It's very opportune that I'm actually going out to the operations next week. The entire week, I'm going to be spending time at the operations. I mean, it's no secret that what we do need is to have some sustainable performance throughput improvement at Vanchem. So I'm very, very keen to go put my safety boots on and get to the operations and understand the size of the opportunity. That'll take me a week or 2 once I've got my feet firmly on the ground as the CEO on the 1st of July. And I think, once we've identified the size of the opportunity, we need to understand the business case, the investment opportunities, but we also are constrained in the short term with liquidity. So we've got to marry those realistic opportunities in the short term with liquidity. I have no doubt in the longer term, when we've sorted out the Orion restructure and some other opportunities, we might look at bigger opportunities that'll develop and then ultimately grow the business. But the short term really is getting to understand the business, getting my feet on the ground, particularly at the operations, looking at the Orion restructure, identifying the size of the prize, and then we can evaluate the next steps thereafter.
And Craig, to meet emerging demand, Bushveld has positioned itself for broad-based involvement through its far-reaching vertical integration model. It's got its downstream business, includes the construction of an electrolyte manufacturing plant in East London, the development of a hybrid mini-grid at its Vametco vanadium processing plant in Brits, and investment into VRFB manufacturing. So the company also has the primary vanadium processing, Vanchem, which you said you're going to be looking at very closely. But are you in agreement with this vertical position as well?
Look, I mean, for now, it makes a lot of sense. I have no reason to do anything different to it. My focus is going to be on the mining side in the interim. Fortune's going to be supporting me on the other aspects. He's made mention of the energy carve-out. I've heard about the grid at the Vametco plant, and I've also heard that with sufficient capital, there's a massive business case to enhance that. I'd love to see that in person, but I've got to make my own view of it. I'd be guided by the excellent team that I've got, but one step at a time. Let me get out there. It's nice to see it in person. I'm hearing about the wonderful opportunities that you've mentioned, and next week on Monday I'll see the grid asset that you speak about, and see what the opportunity is to leverage or further investment returns in that space. As I've said, liquidity is a consideration, but we'll marry all these interdependencies with business opportunities and available liquidity. So give me a couple of weeks with my feet on the ground as the CEO, and we'll give you a lot more substance.
And I've been getting calls from people who are in renewable energy, and they're saying the delivery time of lithium batteries is horrific. You can't get lithium batteries, and we need a lot of storage. And they said, marvelously, we're going to have vanadium batteries here. And how long is that going to take, do you think?
Martin, I think the whole premise of Bushveld Energy and VRFBs is that going forward, the energy transition means that we're going to need a lot of stationary storage. And not only stationary storage, we're going to need long duration energy storage. And that is a space which is ideal for vanadium flow batteries due to their longevity over 20 years. And, at 6-8+ hours, they become that much more prolific and competitive. So it's encouraging to see that I think increasingly people are waking up to the proposition of VRFBs. And if you look at the whole electric vehicles mandate the world over, it's quite clear that there's not enough capacity to support lithium-ion battery requirements in the electric vehicle space, let alone stationary storage, a space in which, again, as I said, is much more suited to long-duration solutions like VRFBs. That's what we've been building Bushveld Energy towards. We've got the electrolyte plant in East London, which we are commissioning. 200 megawatt hours worth of electrolyte is its capacity. It can be scaled up to 800 megawatt hours. We've got the mini grid at Vametco, which showcases how you can deploy renewable energy with VRFBs in a commercial environment. So importantly, this is not a subsidized project, and it has been funded with debt, with third-party capital, and demonstrates that we can do these things at much, much bigger scale. And then, of course, our share in the VRFB manufacturing company, CellCube, completes the picture together with, the rentals, which we have developed and which we're deploying. So if the question is, can we respond? And let's look beyond just Bushveld Energy. I think VRFBs today can respond to that requirement, and we're certainly looking forward to seeing VRFBs playing a more and more bigger role in this space going forward.
And is that storage of solar power in vanadium redox flow batteries at Vametco particularly, is it living up to expectations?
Look, we are building the mini grid at the moment. We hope to complete it sometime next month. And so I guess, I look forward to inviting you, Martin, to come and look at it when we switch it on. I have every confidence that it's going to be a fantastic part of the energy solution for Vametco. It'll only do 10% of Vametco's requirements. But that's only because when we started this project, there was still a cap in terms of self-generation. Phase 2 will look at scaling that up substantially, which will, of course, also support Bushveld's efforts for energy independence.
And Craig, what, in your view, should be the biggest takeaway from this interview we're having now?
I think the takeaway is that you should be getting confidence from what you're hearing, both from the outgoing and the incoming CEO. We've got a sexy story to tell, whether it be vanadium batteries or opportunities on the mining side. The timing is in two parts or many parts, but there's a short term and a medium term. The short term is the positives around the restructuring of the Orion and getting more liquidity in the business and taking less leverage off the balance sheet. And then, of course, enabling the funding of great investment opportunities in the business, whether that's the further upgrade of the grid at the Vametco plant, or maybe some other upgrade at Vanchem, or stay in business capital to get throughput through. There are many options available to us. All of them are really positive, and that's the takeaway that I think you should be taking from this interview.
Curio's Mining Weekly has just spoken to Fortune Majapello, the outgoing CEO of Bushveld Minerals, and with him, Craig Coltman, the incoming CEO of Bushveld Minerals.